I had to adjust my brain like, oh man, the Leafs still got to trade David Kampf. They got to trade him. No, they don't. You have to trade him if you don't have space. They do. So what's the problem? Even if they sign Robertson, they have space. Unless he gets 5 or something, they're going to be totally fine. Every team is going to be able to make a move, which is rare, with the exception of like, I don't know, maybe I know Vegas is cartoonishly over the cap, and
Montreal's over the cap. I want to talk about them in a bit.
They're over the cap though because Carey Price.
And no, Patrick Laine too. Like Eric Engels pointed it out in his article. Like he thinks that this is why I wanted to save it, but he thinks Patrick Laine might be the guy to move there.
Right, but if you take $10 million and you throw that on LTIR, like,
well, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like the Montreal cap number is never a true number because you have $10 million sitting there on Carey Price.
Okay,
when's that over?
Next year.
Oh wow,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
Here, Jesse, I want to play a little game. Are you able to change the spots of the players on that?
I can if I go into GM mode.
Yeah, if you go into GM mode.
You mean in the Toronto lineup?
Yeah.
You got to remember, there are people listening to this.
Oh, I know.
So when you say, are you able to change the spots on
I'm going to narrate it.
Is it leopard or what are we doing here?
Well, hey
dad joke.
Very
Thank you.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
No, because it's July. What day is it? July 8th, and I want to figure out what is going on. What does this team look like? I mean, it looks better today than it has on days in the past. So I would swap Michelli and Nylander, I think. Or maybe not. Would you swap Michelli or Nylander?
I would put Domi up with Matthews. It worked. I don't understand this.
You know what? Sure. Let's do that.
Domi on the right?
Yes. I hate him on the left. Anyway, so that's fine. Nyes, Matthews, Domi. Great. I'll try it. Tavares, Nylander, Michelli.
Yeah, Michelli's a disher. Nylander's a scorer. Boom.
Sure.
Done.
Let's... Now, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I actually think I want Scott Laughton on the third. And I know people aren't going to like that. But, like, just think of it as bottom 6, top 6. Put Wah in the middle there.
On the fourth line?
Yep.
Okay.
It's shutdown line, right?
But he scores more than Laughton does.
Goals.
Yeah.
Points is Laughton.
Okay.
You could, or you could just.
Why wouldn't you just? So here's my question: you have Bobby McMahon, Nicholas Waugh, Scott Laughton. Why isn't that a line?
Bobby McMahon, Nicolas Waugh, Scott Laughton. Yeah, you could do that. You could, but here's what we got right now: Nyes, Matthews, Domi. You got Nyes, Matthews, Disher, and we've seen Domi work with Matthews. We know Nyes works with Matthews. Great. Why not try it? Sure. Michelli, Tavares, Nylander. We know Tavares and Nylander work. Disher, Michelli. Great. All bottom 6 line, whatever you want to call it. McMahon, Laughton, Yarncroke. I'm not in love with it, but like they're capable of scoring. They're defensively responsible. Great. Annoying shutdown line, Kampf, Waugh, Lorentz. It's big. You have right-handed faceoff guy, Waugh. You have left-handed faceoff guy, Kampf. Lorentz can even take them as well. There's no one you could kick out of the dot and have it be a problem. I don't know. You head into the season with that. It's not the end of the world.
Why not the all-bastard line?
Do you want Nick Robertson?
As an extra, sure.
Oh, okay. So no.
The all-bastard line could be...
The only person he kicks out to me is Yarncroke. So you could do
if you need
McMahon, Laughton, Yarncroke. Or McMahon, Waugh, Robertson, I think is weird. Or sorry, McMahon, Laughton, Robertson, McMahon, Waugh, Robertson. Like he's a very interesting player to me. Like
Waugh?
No, Robertson. Like he's still so young. Like we all think he's like 26, 27 at this point. He's still at an age where it makes sense for him to get better and also not be the best version of himself. God, wouldn't it? Like, what a boon it would be to get this guy who magically emerges as a 15, 20 goal guy who's also an everyday player and responsible and not like just hucking grenades everywhere and getting absolutely pancaked shift in and shift out. The one thing that's frustrating me a little bit, like as a Leaf fan trying to fantasize about what the team is going to be, is I want them to get better, but I also want them to get a fit for what they are, and I don't see it out there. Like Roslovic is not a fit. He can help you get through the regular season. He'd be a fine addition to this lineup and, put up 20 goals, whatever. He was a healthy scratch for Carolina, like in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, who's out there who matches Craig Berube hockey? It's tough. You're going to have to trade for it, and you're going to have to get creative.
Yeah, that's why we were promised a whole bunch of activity on the trade market, but it hasn't emerged.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for a bit.
I'd love to know, like, what's holding it up. Is it just everyone is taking a breather? Is it they're trying to figure out, like, I mean, who is also giving up what the Leafs want?
Yeah, it might not be anything holding it up. It just might not have existed. It might have been in line with the thinking. Like, it might have been correct. Like, oh, there's not a lot of good free agents. Guys are going to have to go make trades. But in reality, I don't know if those trades exist because people want to keep their good players.
Oh,
They're not just really giving them up.
I almost wonder if, like, salary arb, like, sort of gets the ball rolling. Because, like, that's quite a few teams that are affected. And they're good teams, some of them.
Yeah, but those names aren't anything that should move the needle.
Oh, Maxim Siplikov. Give me some of
Well,
that.
Velarde's a pretty big one.
Yeah, but he's going to get
But,
it
like,
done.
how's that? I don't know if that's affecting, like, big trades.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
A Gabe Velarde deal.
I don't know. I'm trying to... Listen,
You're trying to will.
I'm trying to will something interesting to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's
but
going to...
the reality might just be that it's boring.
Ugh.
You have to. You have to
Ooh, I don't
By the way,
want that.
I think you're missing a great prime opportunity for an all-bastard line of McMahon, Lawton, and Waugh. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Because those guys would be a pain in the ass.
Into it.
And then you have the all-no-scoring line of Lorentz, Kampf, and Yarncroke. And if you need some scoring on it, put Robertson in.
Into it.
Right?
Great.
That to me is like, and you can have Waugh and Lawton trade off face-offs, right? Right and left shot. Kampf can play fourth line center. He can kill penalties. This team is not going to be short on pretty good penalty killers, at least right now. I know that, there is to quote the CJ show, a Marner-sized hole there. But they are going to have guys that can do that.
They really got to...
And if you can
I hated that title.
If you can convince...
I hated that title.
If you can convince Bobby McMahon to be a little meaner and a little more attitude, which I think he's capable of, that could be a really fun line. Scott Lawton's not a fun guy to play against. Neither is Waugh.
So let's figure this out then. So can you take Kampf out of the lineup entirely? Drop Lawton down to 4C. Lorentz and switch Yarncroke and Lorentz. Put Waugh in the middle on line 3.
Oh, you want Lorentz over here.
There you go. So this allows you to have a Lorentz, Lawton, Yarncroke line, which is what you had in the playoffs. Then you have McMahon, Waugh, and blank space.
Likely Robertson.
I assume the blank space is Robertson, and then you have Kampf and Pizzetta as extras.
Robertson doesn't play the right side, really. Though.
Yeah, he does.
He does? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, like, I look at this lineup, and I like Waugh on the wing there, because at least you're utilizing your right shot players, like, on the right side. Nylander, Waugh, and Yarncroke are your 3 righties that exist in your whole lineup. And I think that's kind of a best.
That's crazy, by the way.
That.
Yeah. Well, so then they still need a 3C? No, I would.
No.
I would
you
sooner move Lawton up.
You have David Kampf.
Yeah, I would.
like Lawton.
Yeah.
There's another option.
This is what we had before.
Oh, well,
we switched Lorentz
There's
and Yarncroke.
the same option.
Yeah, like I liked where it was. I didn't think it needed to be moved. Like, you're gonna have to use David Kampf if you're paying him $2.4 million. I feel like that's an adequate 4C because we know he can do that. And at least you have Waugh as your right winger with a right shot.
Yeah, the big one is if you scroll down to the defense. After the inflation of this free agency, there are 0 bad contracts. None. Ekman Larson was a little rich. Not anymore.
I saw somebody try to make the claim that
Not
that's
Morgan
a bad
Riley
deal.
either.
I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, not Morgan Riley either, honestly.
We've turned the tide on that.
Dude, Morgan Riley on free agency today gets that. Since 2022.
Yeah, but that means it's been a bad deal for half of the contract.
No, since 2022.
And what's his play?
Give me a sec.
Okay.
Since 2022, I came across this when I was doing the Bouchard video. For scoring by a defenseman, over the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's 10th or 11th in the entire league. And he's not making 10th or 11th in the entire
How's his
league
defense?
money. Porous at times.
Better with Carlo.
Better with Carlo.
Better with Carlo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is going to do wonky shit. And he's only in he's going into year 5 of this contract? Yeah.
It was the theme
Kyle.
of the Leafs at the
Jesus.
time. Yeah, no, Kyle was awful at this. He was awful at the whole contract thing. Like it's interesting seeing him in Pittsburgh doing exactly what he was great at in Toronto, which is just selling the farm and getting 40 million picks. He was legitimately very good at that. The contract thing, he's miserable. He's got to be bottom 5 in the league.
Yeah. And they're hanging on to Tristan Jarry there. Good old times.
And the goalies forget it.
The thing that scares me most about Morgan Rielly is I think the worst game of his career was Game 7 against Florida Panthers.
Yep.
He could not have been worse. And in those moments, I feel like that carries more weight than anything he does in the regular season. And I'm going to always remember that. And that's the type of performance we're going to get out of this player.
The problem with him is like his offense does elevate in the playoffs, but like, is that what we need out of you?
Not at all.
Well,
Yeah.
and I also think like Jesse makes such a good point. Like people are really hard on Calle Yarncroke for his lack of goals in the playoffs, dude. Like, what are we
that
doing?
era is over. The era of nickel and diming is over.
But my point is, you need your best players to be their best in their best games. It's why Carolina didn't stand a chance against Florida.
Yeah.
Their best players looked tiny and small. And
I'm not buying what they're selling.
well, and you talk about Roslovic. The guy's over 6 feet tall. He's 80th percentile in terms of speed.
Yeah,
he's a
bang
right shot
average size.
center who scores at a half a point a game pace. I think he adds significantly to this lineup.
Center wing. Like
Center
I would
wing.
get him just to have him as an option.
Well, you could have 3 centers on the third line with a guy like that.
I wonder what he's asking for.
Well, I would hope it's a lot.
He had 22 goals.
Yeah.
So I see Christian Dvorak and I'm like, well, I'm at least him.
Oof.
Yeah, but you're not making that playing for the Leafs. You want to go sign with the Flyers or the Blackhawks, you can make that kind of money. You're not making that.
The Leafs also, like, they can't spend too much because I still think they need bodies. The competition, the stuff we were talking about going into training camp, they need more people to be in competition for these spots.
Agreed.
They have that $4.9 million in cap space, and they have right now Michael Pezzetta and Nick Robertson and Ryan Reeves fighting for the last couple lineup
and
spots.
Reeves is going to be sent out.
I would like better humans to be fighting for those spots. I'd like another situation where you have a guy like Max Pacioretty coming in a training camp and fighting for that. So I hope they utilize that $4.9 million on like 1-year deals that are $900,000 or $1 million, just to have people in there who, because this lineup's not going to be healthy for the entire length of the season.
Right.
And your only extra forward is like Easton Cowan or Pezzetta or Reeves. Like, they need depth here. They actually lack a lot of depth in the forward group.
That's where Cowan comes in. You're right. That Gruel guy is sort of an interesting signing.
Who?
Exactly. That's fair. He's got 3 names. I forget what.
Well,
first
what
two
about
are.
the 5 guys they signed to the Marlies today, gentlemen?
Today?
They just signed it as of the start of this show.
Now, are they NHL contracts or AHL?
They're AHL, but they can always be upgraded.
All right, yeah, that's
Like they got Gunnar Wolf-Fontaine.
Yo, the Leafs got Gunnar Wolf-Fontaine.
They did. From the
SDP
Iowa Wild.
legend?
That's right. What a name.
Wow.
Ben King, Nick Rayom, Marco Sikic, and Ryan McCleary. So,
Sikach. I think I recognize him.
yeah. And I think McCleary is from the Cincinnati Cyclones, so that's their ECHL.
Good for him.
Good for him. Little promotion.
Gunnar
Jesse's right.
Wolf-Fontaine.
It's our guy. It's our guy.
I
What a
need to
name.
know more about Gunnar Wolf-Fontaine. That's so good.
It's
They need more humans in
Yes.
their roster.
Yes.
In their organization to compete for NHL spots.
They did get Vinny Lettieri, who is like an NHL option. Oh, Travis Boyd is a good depth option. They picked him up as well. He can play in the NHL. I see where you're getting at, Jesse. I see where you're getting
The
at.
things you're offering me aren't of highest quality.
Mom, what's
yeah,
the problem,
but
Jesse?
like, what is your 13th, 14th forward supposed to get you out of bed?
Last year when they brought in Alex Nylander, it felt like something of like, oh, there's a former top 10 pick who you can throw in your system. They needed him during the regular season last year because of all the injuries. They called him up, played a couple games, wasn't spectacular, not coming back, whatever. But at least there was an NHL body ready to go. And I feel like they're lacking those guys right now in the system. But it's July, what is it, 8th?
8th.
It's July 8th. There's 4 months to
got it
solve
wrong.
that. Yeah, you got the date wrong. I'm not too concerned. It's just on the list of things they need to check off in the next 4 months. So this isn't like I'm not like pissed off that the Leafs need more guys.
Oh, Jesse walked in
I'm
here
just
pissed
saying
today.
like
Yeah.
they need to do this eventually before October hits.